This video carries straight on from part 7.1, so if you haven't watched that already, I'd recommend going back and watching it. We saw Irina stirring up tension between her and her love rival, Bliss. Now we see Irina on a date with Zack.
First of all, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Second of all, I'm so sorry that your room is not filled with balloons and a cake for me.
What?
And I literally feel so horrible because I think birthdays are so important and I think you're really special, and I feel so shitty that I didn't get a chance to make you feel special. But yeah, I hope you feel really celebrated and loved today.
That means a lot. Thanks, Irina.
Of course. Well, I'm gonna be honest. I completely forgot it was your birthday. So I'm a bad friend.
No, you're not.
I hope that I can make it up to you sometime.
Okay.
I literally have so much anxiety coming into this room.
In fairly quick succession, Irina says she feels horrible, that she feels so shitty, that she's a bad friend, and that she had so much anxiety coming into the room. She's bombarding Zack with pity plays. It's a way of manipulating him into feeling sorry for her, which therefore allows her to get away with not doing anything for his birthday.
And I know that you have other relationships, but yeah, it's obviously tough. Like, I'm in a room with the other girl and I feel like it's so uncomfy in there. Like, I think I'm okay, but I don't know how she's feeling, and I don't think I have to worry about her, but it doesn't feel the best in there, like the tension and stuff.
More pity plays from Irina. This is an attempt to elicit sympathy from Zack, as well as to make him feel guilty for not choosing her yet, by saying how uncomfy the women's living quarters are, and how it doesn't feel the best with the tension. Of course, Irina doesn't give the important piece of context, that she's the person causing most of this tension with her provocative actions, as we've just seen. It's very much par for the course for a narcissist to cause drama, and then go on to complain about said drama, in the way that Irina currently is. It's contradictory behaviour, an element of the narcissistic dynamic, and a big red flag. Of course, for an unaware narcissist, they genuinely can't see that they're at fault in any way, and actually do believe that everyone else is the problem. We see another sign of Irina's complacency about the love triangle with Bliss, as she says, "I don't think I have to worry about her." All unaware narcissists suffer from some level of delusion, but lower echelon narcissists such as Irina have a higher level of delusion. They will often feel as if they couldn't possibly be rejected in favour of anybody else because of their sense of superiority. In reality, it would make sense for Irina to be at least a bit worried about Bliss, given that Zack is clearly still in the process of choosing between the two of them.
I really like you and I really care about you, and I really want honesty from you, and I feel like if there's ever a point where you don't see yourself with me, or you start developing really heavy feelings for Bliss, from the bottom of my heart, I ask you to tell me and be honest with me.
I know it's nerve-wracking where you're at. I have not made a choice at this point. And I hate this, Irina.
Oh, you hate having to choose between two girls that are absolutely falling for you? Oh
well,
God.
because I care about both of you. And I think you can understand that.
Yeah, I can.
It's this, and that's why I don't like that it's getting contentious.
Hey, I know I talk some shit about some girls.
It sounds as if Irina has been bad-mouthing other women, plural, to Zack, or as she puts it, "I know I talk some shit about some girls." If this is true, it shows smearing, an important element of the narcissistic dynamic.
But I don't have any ill intent. If I'm in the kitchen with her and I'm "Oh, how's that tasting?" Or that's just me. I mean those things. I'm not trying to be snaky or mischievous. It's just different for her. I feel weird that she feels so weird.
As I said a minute ago, unaware narcissists genuinely cannot see that they are the problem because their narcissism blinds them to the reality. Irina can't see that her interactions with Bliss have been inappropriate. Instead, she blame shifts and puts the fault for the tension squarely at Bliss's door, saying, "I feel weird that she feels so weird." In Irina's eyes, she just innocently said these things with no ill intent, and other people have viewed these as being snaky and mischievous. In other words, it's everybody else's fault for misinterpreting her. Notice that there's no attempt at self-reflection from Irina in wondering why other people might be interpreting her actions in this way. It's never the narcissist's fault, no matter how many times these type of interactions occur throughout their lives. This is the famed lack of accountability.
I didn't know how sincere you were at first, but as I've gotten to know you, it's pretty evident that you're very thoughtful and caring person. It hurts me to see that people don't see that side of you because you are so blunt.
Zack has fallen hook, line and sinker for Irina's explanation and is writing off the tension with Bliss and the other women as them misunderstanding Irina's bluntness. He even goes as far as to call Irina a very thoughtful and caring person. How is it possible that a smart person like Zack isn't able to see the reality of the situation, that Irina's the one causing the problems here? Firstly, she's on her very best behaviour with him in order to ensnare him and bring him under her control. Even lesser narcissists like Irina have some degree of charm. They need to, in order to reel in victims. So Zack hasn't seen any of the poor behaviours from Irina that we've had the benefit of seeing. And like most people, Zack doesn't understand narcissism. Most people assume there's goodness within everybody, and they take somebody being nice to them at face value. Their mindset is, this person is being nice to me because they're a nice person. It takes a big shift in mindset to see that there is no goodness inside certain people, that when they're being nice, it's not because they're a nice person. This is one of the reasons that it takes so long for most people to fully grasp the concepts of narcissism or psychopathy. And even then, it takes a lot of work to be able to recognize the red flags for these, especially if you're aiming to spot them while the person is still being nice to you, before they start harming you and others around you. If Zack knew about narcissism, he would have picked up on several red flags in just the past couple of minutes. We've heard about Irina's bluntness, often an indicator of a lack of boundaries and empathy. We saw her over-the-top pity plays after she forgot Zack's birthday, her smearing other women to Zack, and her victim mentality in blaming other people for the tense situation. Now of course, as I always say, this wouldn't be enough to form a conclusion on Irina. For example, it might just have been the case that she is a very blunt person, or it might have just been the case that she genuinely was being unfairly treated by the other women. But these are all small parts of a big puzzle that reveals itself over time, and I have no doubt that if Zack was aware of the signs, he would have picked up on a huge number of red flags from Irina after several days of talking to her, because she's so obvious and doesn't operate with a facade. There are other reasons why Zack would believe Irina here. As humans, we're predisposed towards believing other people when they tell us things. We don't come into most day-to-day conversations with a high level of skepticism, evaluating whether what somebody is telling us is really true or not. We just give them the benefit of the doubt and accept it. Another reason is that narcissists are very convincing liars, because they actually believe their lies themselves. Their victim mentality allows them to successfully tell a tale of woe, and make the target feel sorry for them. And finally, narcissists get in and establish their side of the story first, because they love to smear other people. By the time a narcissist's target actually hears the true version of events, the narcissist has solidly established their own version of events, so the target will often still take the narcissist's side, or at least have a sort of, well, I'm sure there's truth in both sides of the story type of view.
It hurts me to see that people don't see that side of you because you are so blunt. And I understand that because I am similar. I've just learned to hold my tongue a little bit more.
I feel like a little part of me doesn't regret anything I say though. I feel like I make things so intense. I feel like that's like my personality.
So Zack says that he's blunt by nature, but has learned to hold his tongue a little bit more. Irina's response makes it clear that although she recognizes the way she talks to other people is causing issues, as she euphemistically puts it, I make things so intense, She doesn't show any desire to change her behaviour. She writes it off by saying, "It's almost like that's my personality," and even goes as far as to admit that a little part of her doesn't regret anything she says. This is a very typical attitude for a lesser narcissist. Essentially, I say what I think and that's just who I am. If other people take it badly, that's on them. Her attitude shows a sense of entitlement in saying whatever she wants, a lack of empathy for the people she offends, and a lack of accountability in not wanting to take any action to solve this. And once again, Irina shows her complete lack of a facade, just straight out stating this enormous red flag without any hesitation. Let's see if Zack picks up on it.
It is your personality. But you're real. I just think you're really courageous. But I see what you want to be and who you're becoming.
Yeah.
And I find it incredibly attractive. I see our lives aligning so well.
To quote an overused saying, when you look at someone through rose-tinted glasses, all the red flags just look like flags. Zack is somewhat smitten with Irina, and therefore sees her bluntness as a good thing. She's real and really courageous. And somehow he sees what she wants to be and who she's becoming, despite her just telling him that she sees no need to change. That's the last we see of the conversation and the end of this part. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe.